Okay, hello everyone, I'm back, and what I'm doing today is I'm going to transfer this letter C onto this piece of wood because I'm going to be doing a mosaic piece. So what I've done here is I've printed out a whole bunch of different letter C's, and I was kind of looking at them on the wood, and I'm kind of debating between this size and this one smaller size. And I actually think I'm going to go with this one smaller size. But there's a great way to transfer things onto paper. And what you have to do is turn it over. Now I'm going to use, I happen to have some chalk. So I'm going to use chalk. I have some pastels. And chalk works good. And there's actually a specific thing I used to have, Pounce, but I can't find it. But I used to use when I did big murals on walls. Because you can transfer this. This technique will work for transferring to walls, for transferring to, anything. In this case, it's going to be wood. So if I turn it over, I can still see where that outline is. And you can just cover this whole back thing if you want, and you can use pencil if you want. But I'm just going to kind of go over just the outline. And I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to go all the way around and make sure I get chalk on anywhere that there's a black line. I want to have chalk on this side, like so. Okay, that's it. Then I'm going to just give a little blow and brush it off. I'm going to get my piece of wood that I want to work with here. And I'm going to line this up. Luckily it's on a piece of paper that's nearly the same size, but I just want to get it pretty centered. I mean, if you wanted to, you could get really meticulous and center it and everything, but this isn't going to be painted. This is going to be mosaic, so I may go out of the lines anyway. So in this case, it's not all that important, but I do want to get it pretty much in a centered as best I can. Now what I'm going to do, I've got this, actually I should tape it down. All right, just on back, and I've got just some regular masking tape, and this is kind of like a throwback to the days of the old paste boards and how we used to do graphic design before computers. So I'm just going to tape it so it doesn't move. A couple spots up here, and do like this. Okay, so now it's taped into place, so we're going to get a uniform design. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the other side of a regular old ballpoint pen. And this is obviously the side with no point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to go really like this. And I'm going to press down really hard. And of course it's not writing, it's just pressing. And it's going to be, I'm doing it real loose and sloppy. I mean, you could definitely get really meticulous with this, and I have done that in cases where I've done murals and so on. But for this, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just going to, because you can, maybe you do want to use a size where you can see, because make sure you haven't skipped anything. So I'm just going to go around one more time just to make sure that I really have got it all stopped there in place. Okay, so now I'm going to, it worked good. See? See the letter C. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just go over it in marker, and then, because this is definitely very temporary. Okay, I'm going to do a quick measure, and if I do so, I can see just by using this, like this is about to right here, yeah, this is way off center. So I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to come to the left. So let's see, the original one was here, so I'm going to come over maybe like that. Let me use this marker thing again, and let's see. So I've got this much on this side and that much on that side. That seems much more centered. So I'm going to paste it down, and I'm going to come back again, and I'm going to go over it again with my pen cap. Make sure we got the whole thing covered. I'm going to lift it up, and we should have another one right next to it. And we do. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, just to be sure, I'm going to give it a blot. I'm going to use well, any kind of permanent marker. I just happen to have a big Sharpie here. And I'm just going to go over it in the Sharpie so I'm sure that I'm going to get the right one when I go to do my design. So I'm going to go around, and again, in this, oops, and I messed it up. What's great about this is that it's going to be, yeah, I think that's about right. It's going to be mosaic, so all this will be covered with grout and you won't see it. Okay, but I think that's good to start with. That's my letter C. So I'm going to start doing my mosaic, and you can use this technique with anything, walls, anytime that you want to transfer a design or a drawing onto anything, you can use this technique. And chalk or pencil will work as well. It works best with line art and like kids' coloring books. If they wanted to take a coloring book and transfer that design onto something, you could do that. You could do it with anything. You could transfer it to fabric, whatever you want. You don't want to lay it down permanently until you're sure what it is, because this will come off now. I could actually go around this with some, damp cloth, and I could get rid of that chalk. But once you lay it down in this permanent marker, then it's there to stay. But so I think it turned out pretty good, and fun little idea, fun thing for kids to do. It's kind of magic, transfer a design onto something, and then they could maybe color it in or paint it. Okay, give it a try at home sometime.